Hey guys, how's it going? I'm back here with another video, and I'm finally getting around to doing my year-end video. Uh, which is going to be my top 10 albums of the year. Now, three of these albums I don't actually have physical copies of just yet, but they still were good enough to make my list, even though I don't have them physically yet. But I do plan on getting them at a later date and time. And there's one EP on here just because I did think that it was worthy enough to make a list like this because I've been listening to it for, almost the entire year since it came out. But I don't have any honorable mentions, but I will mention some albums that did not make the list. And a lot of you may be surprised, but Skillet's new album Victorious that came out back in August did not make this list. And as you guys know, Skillet's been my favorite band for over 12 years, almost 13 years now. But I got to admit, they just don't do it for me like they used to. But I'm still holding out hope that one day they'll release another album such as Collide and Comatose. Heck, I'll even take albums like Awake and Rise. But yeah, Victorious did not make the list. Another album that did not make the list was We Are Not Your Kind by Slipknot. Now, I know that might shock some people because I have grown to like Slipknot quite a lot over this last year. So when their album We Are Not Your Kind came out, I was excited for it just like everyone else was. But there's just something about it that I can't seem to get into. Uh, I do like certain songs such as Unsainted, Soulway Firth, uh, Birth of the Cruel, and a couple of others, Spiders, Orphan, but it just wasn't enough to make my honorable mentions or my top 10. I know that's going to hurt a lot of people, and I'm sorry about that, but it just didn't do it for me that much. Like I said, no honorable mentions, so let's just get right into it. At number 10, now this might actually surprise some people that it's this low on the list. Number 10 is Killswitch Engage's newest album, Atonement. Now, why is this the number 10 spot? It's just because, now, there's nothing wrong with this album at all. Otherwise it wouldn't be on the list, period. But it has some great songs on here, no doubt, like Unleashed, The Signal Fire, I Am Broken Too, The Crownless King. It's just, some of this album feels a little rushed, in my opinion. I don't know if that's just me. Uh, and I'm not the biggest fan of Jesse Leach, the lead singer. I do think that he is a good vocalist, but, you know, I've always preferred Howard Jones over Jesse Leach. That's always been my preference. But that's not to say this is not a bad album at all. Like I said, otherwise it wouldn't be here. But I just think it feels a bit rushed, and it seems like a letdown compared to previous Killswitch Engage albums. And I know that sounds kind of contradictory because the last video I did of my Christmas haul was me getting all these Jesse Leach Killswitch Engage albums. But it's just, I think he personally sounds better on those albums than he does on this. That's just my opinion. But anyway, number 10, Killswitch Engage, Atonement. Okay, number 9, we have the band Wage War with their latest album, Pressure. Now, this is not a perfect album, and this is why it's so low on the list. It still has great hard-hitting songs that you've come to know and love from Wage War, such as Who I Am, Prison, Low, uh, you know. But, while it does feature the same typical metalcore style that you're used to from Wage War, I do like the fact, and I can appreciate the fact that they tried something different with this album. Now, I do think, hold on, I thought it stopped recording for a second. I apologize. But I do think that this is Wage War's weakest album to date, no doubt about that. but it has some good things on it. And I do like the fact that they gave the clean vocalist more of a chance to shine on this one than on their last two albums. Because half of the songs on here are mostly with clean vocals. Like I said, they still have screaming, they still have what Wage War is known for, but they did take a couple of chances on this album. And I know I'm not the biggest fan of experimentation, and I'm not, but and some of the stuff on here that they tried to experiment with, songs like The Line and uh, I don't know, Forget My Name, Take the Fight, they don't really do it for me, but the songs that, like Who I Am, Prison, Me Against Myself, Hurt, Low, and that closing track, Will We Ever Learn? I think that's a great closing track. It's very emotional, and that was enough to get this on the list. I know a lot of people might disagree, but hey, this is my list, not yours. Oh, yeah. Let me say it again. Number 9, Wage War, Pressure. Okay, number 8, we have another Christian metalcore artist. This is Wolves at the Gate with their album Eclipse. Now, this band really surprised me because I've never been a huge fan of Wolves at the Gate. In fact, this is the only year that I've really gotten a chance to try them out. I did like certain songs from previous albums, such as The Bird and the Snake and The Father's Bargain. Those are both great songs. But this album, Eclipse, I mean, I do think that this is Wolves at the Gate's best album to date, with songs like The Cure, Face to Face, Evil Are the Kings, Counterfeit. It's really, really, really good stuff here. Um, the reason why it's number 8 on this list is because some of the songs, like when the lead singer is singing, especially in the beginning verses, not the beginning verses, but the first verse of some of the songs, it almost sounds like he's whispering over the music, like it's you can't really tell what he's saying, and that hampered it a little bit for me. And I'm not saying every song's like that, but it's still a great album nonetheless. That's my only nitpick with it. But yeah, number 8 we have Wolves at the Gate, Eclipse. Okay, now my number 7 is an EP that came out this year, and I don't have the physical copy of this one yet. But it's a new band that I found. They're out of London, England, and they are called Captives. And the EP is called Ghost Like You. Now, I have nothing but great things to say about this EP. It's only 5 songs, but it really, I mean, for a band that's not well known, they sound very polished on this album. And I think that if you were to listen to it, the best way I can describe it is maybe a heavy version of, I'm horrible with thinking of things on the spot, but I would say they sound like uh, the vocalist sounds a little like Ollie Sykes from Bring Me the Horizon, in my opinion. Just better. But it has songs like Signs, which is their lead-off single, and they have songs like Crashing Down, Find a Way. Those are all really great songs if you're wanting to get into them. I definitely see big things in store for Captives. But yeah, number 7, Captives with their EP Ghost Like You. Number 6, this is another Christian metalcore band. I guess you guys are noticing the theme here. I mean, it's not all going to be like that, don't worry. But next we have the returning As I Lay Dying with their album Shaped by Fire. Now, I'm not the biggest As I Lay Dying fan. The only reason that I knew about As I Lay Dying, other than the obvious story that you guys are well aware of, was way back in the day I heard a song by them called The Sound of Truth. And I think my best friend may have showed me that song way back in the day. But I liked it, even though it was heavier than what I was used to. I liked it, but it was the only song by them that I could get into at the time. So when this came out, I wanted to try it out, and I'm really surprised at how much I like this album. Songs like Blinded, Shaped by Fire, and my personal favorite, Undertow. That chorus in Undertow is so catchy, and I really like that. You guys know I'm all about catchy songs. Sue me, yeah. And also like My Own Grave, Redefined, uh, The Wreckage, Gatekeeper. I mean, this whole album. There's not a bad song on this album, in my opinion. Probably, well, you're probably thinking, well, if that's the case, then why is it only number 6? It's just I've just found albums that I thought were a little bit better. That's all. But yeah, at number 6, As I Lay Dying, Shaped by Fire. Now we're finally into the top 5 after 11 minutes of me rambling. At number 5, this may or may not come as a shock to people. Number 5, we have In Flames with their album I the Mask. Now, at one point, this album was actually my top album of the year. I know that might surprise people even more, but I understand that In Flames used to be a lot heavier than what they are now. Trust me, I've heard some of their older stuff, very death metal influenced. I understand that, but this is right up my alley with them. I mean, songs like Voices, I the Mask, Call My Name, I Am Above, Burn. I mean, the only song off this album that I really don't like is We Will Remember. And I know a lot of people also talk about the repetitive song, This Is Our House, but I actually kind of like that one, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I didn't expect to gravitate towards In Flames like this, and this is my introductory album for them. Like I said, I know they were a lot heavier back in the 90s, but this is right up my alley. So yeah, breaking in at number 5, In Flames, I the Mask. Great album. Okay, now for the next 2, I don't have the physical copies of. Now, number 4 is a band that I doubt anyone on this channel has ever heard of before. If you follow a channel called Dreambound, you will find this band and a bunch of other bands that are unknown from around the world, and I really love it. This band is called Valiant Hearts. Excuse me. And the album is called Odyssey. Now, this is their second album. I had no idea they even had one, to be honest with you. But this album, I gave this a 10 out of 10 the moment that I first listened to it. I think it's that good. It mixes a lot of elements. It's got piano, it's got some metalcore in there, and it's got your standard hard rock. But I don't think there's anything really standard about this. I mean, there's a lot of standout songs on here like Alaska, Mesmer, which is my personal favorite, Medusa, Make Contact, Ever Changer. I think that's the name of that one. So many good things to say about this album. They are from Australia, and Australia has some great bands and artists to come out of that continent. I'm not even joking. And add Valiant Hearts to that list. If you want to give them a chance, just search them up. I'm sure you will find a lot by them. Okay, so number 4 was Valiant Hearts with the album Odyssey. Okay, number 3. Now this might shock some people as to it being this high up on the list. Number 3 is another band that I found this year called Dayseeker with their album Sleep Talk. Now, the reason I say this might be surprising to people is because there's a lot of pop on this album, but it mixes well with the heavier side of the album. It mixes pop with metalcore, hard rock, and maybe even some easy listening thrown in, which is definitely a blend of styles, which is what I really like. I really love the title track, Sleep Talk. It's probably my favorite from the album, along with songs like Starving to Be Empty, The Color Black, Burial Plot, Crooked Soul, Drunk. There's a lot. I mean, this whole album, I would honestly give this another 10 out of 10. A little hint: the top four albums are all 10 out of 10s for me, including this one. So yeah, like number 3 was Dayseeker with the album Sleep Talk. Now for the top two. Number 2, this is a Christian hard rock band that's been around forever, it seems like. At number 2, we have Disciple with their album Love Letter Kill Shot. Now, I can't explain how much this album resonates with me. When the first single, Cuff the Criminal, came out earlier this year, I didn't know what to think of it. I wasn't really vibing with it. But then once I heard songs like Reanimate and Wake Up, Panic Room, Misery, Chemical Wisdom, there's a lot of great stuff on this album. I'm telling you. If you know Disciple and you know what they're about, you will like this album, hands down. So much emotion, so much, typical Disciple. It's what we're accustomed to. So yeah, guys, number 2, Disciple, Love Letter Kill Shot. And now, the moment is finally here. My top album of 2019 goes to Saint Asonia with their album Flawed Design. Now, I did not expect this album to be as good as it ended up being. I don't have anything bad to say about this album. This album, in my opinion, is flawless. No pun intended on the title. But it starts off on a heavy note with the song Blind, and it ends on a somber kind of emotional note with the song Martyrs, which is, I think, a really great album closer. But my favorite song on here is the single called Beast, because it's something that I fight with when I have my depressive moods, and the song Beast really makes me think of that. So I resonate a lot with that song. But yeah, there's not a single bad song on this album to me. And that is why Saint Asonia, Flawed Design, takes the number 1 spot. Whew, my voice is tired. Anyway, guys, there you have it. Those are my top 10 albums of 2019. And of course, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Did I make some good choices? Are there any shockers that you didn't expect to be on this list, or in the order that you saw them? So yeah, leave a comment down below, subscribe to my channel, tell your friends about me. And as always, guys, I'll see you guys next time. And oh yeah, representing this new Alice in Chains shirt that I got for Christmas the other day. Yeah, this is a better shot of it. It's got the album art for Jar of Flies on it. Yeah. But anyway, guys, I'll see you guys later. Take care.